TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good morning, good day, depending on where you are tuned in from. This is the Thursday Morning Digest, and as always, we come to you straight from the Elevate TV studios right in the heart of the city of Nairobi. So you know how we do this. Please share the links with your friends, with your colleagues, so that they can get informed and they can participate in our very informative discussion this morning. As always, we bring to you guests that give us information that helps us, and also they share their stories so that we can be inspired. So before I take any more time, I want to introduce our guest for today, and I will have her introduce herself, and then we will pick it up from there. I am your host, Laureen Magotsi. So thank you for tuning in today. So thank you so much, Bahati. You're so welcome. I feel very welcome to our show this morning. Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Laureen. So nice to be here with you today. And indeed, to all who are watching, nice to meet you. My name is Bahati, or Auntie Baha. High schoolers like to call me Auntie Baha. And I love talking to high schoolers.
Wow.
My passion is actually in career guidance.
Wow.
And I do work for St. Paul's University. Okay. I'm wife to Gideon Gatere, who I hope is watching. Hi, honey. And I'm a mother of four, Neza, Ira, Nisi, and Rohi. I'm glad to be here today. I'm a Kenyan, yeah, mixed race. Yeah, my dad is from the coast, my mom is from the lake, and my husband is from the mountains. So,
wow.
Yes,
wow.
And I love Jesus. I love Jesus as my savior. Yeah, he saved me when I was just a young girl before my teenage years. I was 7 years old. I dedicated my life to Jesus when I was 13, and I've been serving him, loving him, and I'm embraced and held by Jesus.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. What an introduction. So we'll call you Auntie Baha.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Again, just to our viewers, please keep sharing the links so that we can have people join in, so that they can participate in this very informative discussion with Auntie Baha.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little more about your journey that led you to come to a point where you feel you want to work with teenagers or high schoolers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. So my journey starts especially with high schoolers. It was a surprise, actually. It was a surprise because I worked with little children for a long time. I ran a club with my husband called Powerhouse Children's Club.
Wow.
We were the founders, and we ran it for 7 years. It was a holiday club.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a homestaying mom, a graduate of Daystar, and just at home loving my children.
Wow.
When I noticed the neighborhood children were just hanging around, doing nothing, and I had a gift, I had a talent, I didn't have a job, and I was happy to be with my children, so I invited them in. And with the little income that we had, which was almost zero, by the grace of God, we would have them in for arts, craft, music, dance, give them a snack, and send them home.
Wow.
We progressed to go to a kindergarten near home, where my children ended up going, Green Acre Kindergarten, and we did it for 5 years there.
Wow.
So I was very into children, and then I did my master's during that time at Pan Africa Christian University in leadership. In the process, we got really, really broke because we were running the club. I was in school, we had our children, and life was a bit tough. My husband was also between jobs. But we knew that the Lord had called us and sent us to do this, and we were excited about it. But yeah, we were broke. So we put our hands together, went on our knees and asked God, please give me a job. And in his faithfulness, while I was doing my coursework, a friend of mine there, Dr. Moniki, says like, Baha, there's an opportunity. Would you consider throwing your CV there? And I'm like, wow, where's this? And I found St. Paul's University was looking for a marketer. And there I was, and I put in my CV, and through the process, got the Vice Chancellor then trusted me, a homestaying mom, with Powerhouse Children's Club, and a singer. By the way, I had recorded my first music album by then, by the grace of God, by faith, and I've seen faith work, by the way. God answers prayer. And God delivers, and God gives you, even at home, you know, we were still able to do so much, doing the album, doing the children's club, and with friends and family chipping in and making finances available. God is faithful. And so with that being my background, and I did the interview and I was employed. And so my journey began on higher level education, and it has grown from there, because I first saw it as an opportunity to talk to people in Nairobi, especially masters, because I was a master's student, you know, go around and talk. But it I grew into realizing campuses for, like me, when I was, you know, when I finished high school in Pango, and I'm a Pangani girl, Pango Hoy, just being in that, you know, when you finish high school and you're in that space of what do I do, where do I go next? My desire was always to join a university that would train me in communication, because I loved talking to people, and I believed God wanted me to interact with people on radio and TV. But yeah, so there I was, and I realized we need to go back to the high schools, because that's the way I got attracted to my university, going to talk to them about their what it means to be in university, what do we offer, and then the questions started to come from the high schoolers themselves. Now, how do I know? You know, I want to do this career, that career, and the other career. Where is the money? And my journey began with high schoolers. And I've been at it now for 12 years by the grace of God. In the same university, they have entrusted to me the task, and we get to do a lot with just interacting with the young people, whether they come to the campus on one-on-one conversations, or whether we go out to their schools and have these amazing forums with them in panels and in face-to-face contact, or whether we go and meet them in Tao. You know, the just talking to young people really excites me, and just hearing them out. Now I've gotten this C, or I got an A and I don't know what I want to do, or I got a D, where am I going to go? My parents want me to do medicine, me I want to do communication, you know, answering those questions. That is what has given me also my purpose, and I found myself thriving in it. Beautiful.
What a beautiful story. Allow me to just take you back a little bit, and you talk about that tough season. Because sometimes we see where people are without fully understanding the journey, you know, behind the scenes. And you're always so happy and so bubbly and so full of energy and just encouraging others.
Thank you.
Could you just take a minute and just go back and tell us what helped you through that season, for the sake of somebody who's watching you this morning?
And that's, by the way, the Kenyan situation, and probably also those, I mean, it's a human situation. I believe that God takes us through seasons of tough seasons to make us, to mold us, to shape us. For Gideon and I, my husband and I, we got into marriage, and we found ourselves, we got married thinking, you know, my husband has a good job, and you know, I'm a graduate. You know, we were both graduates of Daystar, and like, you know, life is gonna work and it's gonna go, and you know, we were raised from middle income families, so there was that aspect of I know we are gonna make it. but we were not ready for what was going to hit us when we now said I do and entered the house. And the job place, we were young also. You're thinking you know it all, you know, young people tulikuwa na keherehere. And once in a while you make a decision that costs you. And or you make a decision that forces you to say, okay, I'm done with this place of work. So my husband reached such a point, and the work ended. But we were also establishing a business, and we had some partners and we were working with them. So we had hope still. We were not just going for nothing. There was something we were going for. So we had the Christian perspective where we wanted to serve people, but we also knew we needed money to do it. So we were in the process of getting into business, and my husband left his job, and me, I was between looking for jobs, you know, and I did some administrative jobs here and there, which didn't last long because I really wanted to stay with my children, and God put it in my heart. I was really jealous to stay with my babies at home. So somehow we found ourselves at home without job, and then our partners failed us. At the last minute, we were dumped, and we found ourselves financially desperate, but we really loved each other. We loved God, and we knew that He had the purpose in all this. We also took it as a season of discipline because of our youthful experiences, which is another story. Because I entered into the marriage expecting our firstborn. So there were some discipline issues that God was dealing with us. So part of it for us was the financial place where could we trust God? Could we persevere through this? And so the journey of lack began. We found ourselves living with my mother-in-law and father-in-law who were so kind to host us. And also because I was raised in my dad was Muslim, my mom was Christian. So I didn't know what a Christian family really looked like, and I really desired to know. So for me, it was also, my parents were now by this time born again Christians, and so I was able to, I saw it as a learning opportunity on how do Christians conduct themselves in a marriage. And also now we were dry because we were there desperate. We were actually invited in, and we stayed, and we thought, you know, it will be 3 months, we'll get a job, babe will, you know, get another good job, and we'll keep moving. 3 months came, 3 months went. 1 year came, 1 year went. 2 years passed. Sometimes we'd get good jobs, like, but they wouldn't last. They're like contract jobs, and then they would end. So we found ourselves in mother-in-law and father-in-law's place, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law's place for a good 7 years. And that meant we were financially down, but God took care of us. If you saw us, you would never know. We drove a car because it was given to us by my dad at some point, because my husband was very good with fixing. So if the car had a problem, he would fix it. We go to church, we come back because it sits down. So you wouldn't really think. My children, my sisters-in-law would send us, and my sisters would send us clothes, hand-me-downs, and they're really cute, in good condition. We are smelling good. We looked good, but we were in a season of real dryness. But at the appointed time, God gave my husband a good job, and it was enough for us. And we reached enough is enough stage, because I had given birth to my son before we moved there. My daughter came in with mom and dad. My other daughter came in as well. By the time I discovered I was pregnant with my fourth-born, it was time to move. I just felt in my spirit, babe, we're going to look for our house, even if, you know, I just knew it was time. And my hubby was along with me, and we went with a friend of mine, Gladys. We went and looked for a place where we live, and we found a nice, affordable place, a very beautiful shosho, welcomed us and told us, kujeni tu, watoto wangu. And we found ourselves in our home. Still 1 year later, the contract ended for that job or something. We lost that job, and now we had to face God in our home without. And that is the season when God put in the desire to do Powerhouse Children's Club, and also to do the music ministry. And now He showed us that it was all Him. Even in that space of staying with mom and dad, it was Him. Even in this space when we're in our home, unable to pay rent, and still able to bring in children from the neighborhood who were bogged down like us. Their parents looked like they were, you know, just like us, struggling. But we had something. We had a treasure in a jar of clay. And we had faith. Do you know, some friends would come and see what we are doing, and I would receive M-Pesas. Those days I don't know how M-Pesa would operate, because I would not see who has sent it. But our rent was covered.
Wow.
For a year, our rent was paid for. Another one would come with shopping, and we find we've got food. Another one would come, send me money. Another, it's your anniversary. Your wedding anniversary, and you're just at home. Send us to a hotel. I mean, God took care of us. And I believe he's still in the business of taking care of his people, because he loves us. Not because we are doing even right or wrong. Well, right, especially because wrong, obviously, you know. But right, even if it's because he loves you, that he provides for you, because he's a loving father. See, even non-believers around us, they drive big cars, live in good homes, they are your neighbors wherever you are. Really, it's not a matter of, he says he makes it rain and shine in the good and the wicked alike. So how much more should we grab onto his promises, hold on to him? I believe we were plugged into very good church background, you know. We fellowshipped with pastors from very good churches like ICC, Fountain Gate, and we had some solid faith that was built in us, and we were strengthened by the word that came from the pulpit every Sunday. And even outside the pulpit, we believed actually, you know, even you know, Christian radio, Christian TV, you know, we'd hear words of faith, affirmation that would make you know that there's better ahead. There's something God is preparing you for. You're being shaped up, and you know, this is just for a season. Your mess will be a message, you know. Those words encourage you. You pray with faith. You find God opening doors. And before we knew it, there was Powerhouse Children's Club. When I found myself in a master's class, of which my sister had, I don't know how many, 2 years ago, told me, by the way, but you're just sitting at home. The day you decide to go to school, I will pay your first fee. Do you know, 2 years later, that vision came to my head. And I texted her, I told her, me, I've enrolled. And she was like, how do you know I even have money? I was in school. You know, it's just that after that, now you see, the journey is, you get a lot of support. I had a lot of support from my parents. They would chip in, but even you get tired. You know, you're married, you have a degree, you have children. You don't want to be a beggar. You know, like, God, we have hands, we have feet, use us. Here's my mouth. I've released an album, and that album at some point was giving us, you know, you go to for a church visit, they give you an envelope of 5,000, here, wiki, you're sorted, or maybe that time rent is sorted, you know, just by the love of the body, you know, we pressed through to that point. And then now, of course, getting the job now. And once you get the job, you have entered Canaan, the manna stops. And you have to go milking now the cows and getting the honey from the bees. And so the work began. So we did have a lot of work to do with now building ourselves up to be where we are today. And that is how God has brought us. Still a journey of faith, but now you're partners also in the work, and also able to give to others. And so that giving to others is what helps me even today, to keep on giving and to give people hope.
Wow, what a beautiful story.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, they usually say you don't look like what you've been through. Yeah, because the grace of God covers us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Okay, so now fast forward to the job that you now got, and your passion now to start going after the young people when they came with all these questions. So what was your starting point?
So basically, St. Paul's University gave me the platform.
Okay.
Because now I had to, we need the numbers.
Yes.
We need the students to enroll. But within that time, you realize these are people's lives. It's not just numbers. These are people who really need to have direction. They are young, they're energetic, they have hope. Some don't have hope. And you realize it is more than just advertising our university. It is talking to our life. It is praying. It is speaking life. And so in that process, God has given me like some P's I work with. I call them 7 P's. Yeah, I don't know if I remember all of them, but for example, when we go to high schools, first of all, we carry our university students with us, just for them to be motivated, also to see that it is possible, because they also have stories. University students, some don't have fees, some have come from very humble backgrounds, you know, financially poor and all that, and they are making it. So we go with also those, even those who are making it, those who have come from well-off families, because we are talking to all the students, and it will surprise you that the same issues with students from a very rural area are the same issues facing people, students of the same age in an urban area. Their questions are the same, and you'll find even in the workspace, when you look at your workspace, we're all from different places. Our backgrounds are so different. Some of us have made it, some of us are coming from experiences where we have come from trouble, real trouble. So we accompany our students, we take our students with us also as a way of mentoring them and growing them into knowing how to speak, do public speaking, and also share their story. And I started by sharing my own story. People love stories, Laureen. I know you know that because you are a story person. This area is for stories. Stories motivate, they build up, they inspire, they move you to your next level. So when I share my story, how I was brought up, maybe this time it will be on my parents, this time it will be on my academic life, this time it will be on the struggles we face, they really identify with you and say, oh, kumbe, I'm not the only one. Kumbe, I can do this, you know. So my peace starts with prayer. Are you praying? Because you need to know your purpose. How will you discover your purpose? You discover it by knowing your maker. And how do you know your maker? You read his word, you pray. That's the only way he'll reveal himself to you and his will to you. He'll give you his Holy Spirit, and then you make things clear for you. So we start them off on that journey. Do you know your purpose, you know? And then we move them on to your passion. Because knowing your purpose will be found in your passion. What are you passionate about? What makes you wake up in the morning? Even as a high schooler, what makes you wake up in the morning? And even when you're at home, is it, you know, do you have a talent? That's why we'll go into talents. Do you have a gift, you know, that you want to share? What excites you? What can you do even without being paid? Do people find you in the shower singing? Do you do these skits easily? Does reading come to you naturally? You know, you don't struggle with those things. Now that is the way, those passions are the ones which will drive you also to knowing what your purpose, what you're built for, what even moves you. Is it when somebody is hurt? You know, is it when somebody is confused? Do you find that you want to really help, or do you love traveling? You know, even as young as you are, there's something that you have. For me, I discovered even what I wanted to do just by watching a Christian TV show when I was about 10 years old, and I said, God, I want to do that. You know, it drove me to want to pursue communication. But I didn't even have the guidance, by the way. We were in Pangani together, by the way. But we never used to have these career talks. You know, you'd have to, like for me, I applied even for telecommunication just because I saw the word communication. Oh God. So so we were not guided. So that passion to go out to the high schools, to guide them, to let them know we are there, we are here. Okay, so talking to them about their passion is part of discovering that purpose. Then again, we talk to them about problem solving, because that is where you get your money. Children, that is where you get your money. And they're so concerned about money. This generation, I don't know if I was that concerned about money. Gosh.
Yeah, because when you ask them questions, they're like, okay, how much money will that, you know, if I take that profession,
exactly,
how much will I earn?
Seriously? Oh my. So anyway, it is a serious issue, but mainly maybe also it's the way they've been raised, and also what we talk to them, what is showing up on media, their social media platforms and all that. So we have to deal with that. So we talk about problem solving skills. And how do you solve problems? First of all, you look at what irritates you. Is it that road? You know, you get really upset because of how the roads in Kenya, how the transport system is. Gosh, how are you dressed? You know, you're dressed so okay. Can I fix your hair? You know, when you find that those... Sorry, I think I interfered with the mic. But when you find there's a problem, you see us here and you're wondering, can Baha be better if she's sat here or she did that? You're starting to find, oh, there's a problem.
Yes.
Oh, the education system. Me, I'm so irritated. Are you being called to education?
Yeah.
Are you being called to be a fashion designer? Are you being called to be a painter? Are you being called to be a business person?
Yeah.
Are you being called to be an accountant? Because you're always very pecky on how people are spending money.
Yes.
You know, are you being called to be a marketer? Because you're always out there, you want to really let people know about things.
Yes.
You know, that's the way you end up discovering your purpose. Yeah. It's hidden in your, that thing that really irritates you, or that thing that you really want to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've seen, you've gone through an experience. Your mom was unwell, and you said, nobody will die of this in my watch. Yeah. It gives you your purpose. Yeah. We were sued for something that my parents, I will be a lawyer. I will be an advocate.
Yes.
That is how you discover your purpose. So how am I solving problems?
Yes.
Your purpose will be found in that.
Wow.
So we go to them and tell them that is also where your money will be, because people will pay you for that service.
Yes.
That ability to solve that problem, that ability to come up with solutions. And how do you do that? You have to come to school. You have to be trained.
Yes.
Your skills have to be sharpened.
Yes.
You have to get an education that will make you, because sometimes people, when I finish high school, I'll be done. But they don't realize that the brain, it needs to expand, it needs knowledge, and that knowledge is only, that enlarging of capacity is only gained through added knowledge. So that's why colleges are there, that's why universities are there, to expand that knowledge. Even if you're listening, okay, now they have a lot of access to YouTube. There are a lot of YouTube teachers, and even us as universities, we are now also beginning to, you know, engage with social media, so that we can be able to teach our students better and let them interact with us better. It's true, you can, but there's something about being in that environment of a school, sitting for exams, being tested. There's something that strengthens you and your capacity, and now you're doing something that you're passionate about. You're doing something that you know is leading you towards your career, and that is how you discover even your career. And then there's also the issues of parents, which is very crucial at that age. What my father thinks, what my mother thinks, very important. And we agree. It is true. Your parents are key in helping you to discover your purpose. And some parents have it spot on, because they've really studied you, walked with you, worked with you. But perhaps maybe your parent has not done that. They just know their dream. Like I said before, you know, sometimes, especially the high careers, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an accountant, maybe, you know, run a bank, I want to be a business. But really, is it what you are made of? Is that what God made for you? So we take you back to the drawing board. Are you praying? Are you seeking the word? And are you finding what you're passionate about? What are you seeing it as a problem? Sometimes we want to be, because our family, we are doctors. I've met even a client saying, our family, we are lawyers, our families, we are doctors. But me, I don't want. So how do we help you to even talk with your parents, to help them to see that maybe, okay, this is your dream, but this child, this is her dream? Because we've known people who, of course, reach a point, they get the degree, then they totally deviate completely. So it's like it was a waste of time. However, with us academics, will say it's never a waste of time. You'll always use your skill. It will always be usable. It will always be, there's never a waste when your brain has expanded and knowledge has added. Because you never know even who you're going to raise. And I tell high schoolers that one day you're going to be parents. Do you know who you're going to parent? So you added knowledge is always good. Even when you're doing that bio, that chem, that fic, you'll have a child who maybe will be interested in that, and one day they'll ask you a question. You don't want to be totally clueless. Go through the process. You know, go through the process. If your system of education allows you, like, you know, 844s, we really had that issue, and I had to talk to my children about that. You know, your child may need to just know that you know something in bio, something in chem, something in physics. So just go through it, even if you're not going to be the A student in that. Just get knowledge. You never hurt with knowledge. And the other, you come even to university, and you know, at our age, people are even still adding professional skills, adding knowledge to what you know. The world is becoming a complicated place where the more skills you have, the better for you. But I can do this. I can. I can do this. Yes, I can. There are some skills which are okay, very, very aligned, like medicine. But even still in medicine, there'll be areas that you need to, you know, I'll talk to you as a doctor, but kumbe, you're a doctor of the heart. And me, I'm so, but my eyes. So see, a little knowledge of eyes will be good.
Yes.
And we'll even be shocked that you're a doctor and you don't know.
You even know where to refer me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So added knowledge is always good, and it will strengthen your capacity and make you marketable and open more doors and opportunities for you. So even with parents, we also talk to them about that, please guide your child and also work with them.
Yes.
See their interest. The other thing will be performance.
Before we go to performance, I think we need to take a break.
Okay.
But before we take that break, I just want you to do a recap for us. The first P was purpose, no, prayer, purpose.
Yes.
And then the third was
Passion.
and then now parent.
Exactly.
Okay. So viewers, I hope you are catching that. We've just done the 4 P's. We are coming back for 3 more P's just after the break. So please don't touch that dial.
Yeah.
In Pillars of Faith.
These truths that we bring out every week around the Word of God, they are meant to strengthen our faith.
Time is a consequence of light. The light you have will inform the time you'll be in.
We seek to fulfill the mandate of the Great Commission.
The purpose of God for believers is for formation of sons.
What are the pillars that we need in our lives?
Bearing fruit is spiritual maturity.
Yeah.
You cannot bear fruit if you're not mature.
That is our agenda, motivation and intention.
Introduce Jesus into the matter, and your times and seasons will shift.
Pillars of Faith, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Good day again, wherever you are tuned in from. This is the Thursday Morning Digest, and we are continuing with our discussion on preparing high schoolers for their careers. And so we'll pick it up from where we left off. And again, thank you, Bahati, for taking time out of your schedule just to come and be with us and share some insights with us. So we had talked about some of the P's, and offline you reminded me there's one I forgot, which is about problem solving. And we'll do a bit of a recap, but I think you can help us understand, is there a way that somebody can know? Because there's parental influence, there's influence in terms of what somebody has been exposed to. I'll tell you, when I was growing up, I was exposed to the medical field. So I wanted to be a doctor. You know, everyone that met me when I was growing up knew I wanted to be a doctor. Until my grades, I looked at my grades and I knew I wasn't very strong in my sciences, but I was very, 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 very good in my arts. Yeah. So of course, eventually, there's desire and then there's the reality of what is really on the inside of you. And I had to take that change and that turn, and then I ended up in the arts where I am now. Yeah. So how would you help parents? I want to go back to the P of parents, to help their children to be able to really know what's inside of them, and how they can help their children actually realize their true intended purpose. Because as you said, God has put it in us. There's a way. I just like something. I can just figure out something. I can just see a problem somewhere. How are you helping both the students and the parents to pick career choices?
Connect. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Laureen, for having me. It's a privilege and an honor. I don't take it for granted.
Welcome.
Yeah, and this space is good so that we can talk to many people more, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, actually, when it comes to parents, it will link up with our final P, I think, the performance. Yeah, because that guides parents sometimes to get out of the illusion, the bubble, you know, like, hey, maybe I've not raised a doc or a lawyer or a pilot, you know. But parents sometimes we push. Some parents have been known to push the child, and some children need that. It's true. Some children actually just need, and they'll always be grateful. You can hear from our age mates, some of them, I'm so glad my dad and mom pushed me to do this. Otherwise, me, I would never have known, I would never have done. So some children do need the push, but others are already convinced about what they want, you know, and it also shows up in their performance in their academic work, you know. Like for you, you could see through your performance that you're very strong with the arts. So even so with my case, but and some I think the struggle is not usually on the reverse. Sometimes I find like students who are good with sciences are almost always good with also arts. They don't struggle too much. Although in my when I've looked at because my job allows me to view a lot of KCSE results, you realize that actually there are some who can do very well in the sciences and do very badly in the arts. But for high performers, they usually now are
they are balanced.
They are balanced, and for them it's a real decision on what they want to pursue. I had a friend who was raised with in a family of lawyers and advocates, and she deviated and did communication. But and I was kind of like, unafanya communication na mimi, and the way you used to top class, I mean, I was like allowing my own self, I don't know, but you know, she was also very good with her arts, you know, communicating. Her compositions were one of the best, and she knew how to articulate herself well. But imagine she found herself going back to school of law in her adult years. The bug beat her, and she found herself back there. And you know, like even people like some media personalities we've known who have been lawyers and come into communication and thrived in communication. Hers was the opposite. That now her she started in communication, and now she's thriving as an advocate in her 40s. So I'm like, it's a discovery. I think we should just relax and discover. Even as students, relax and discover. Discover yourself, discover your strengths, discover your weaknesses, and be comfortable with both. If my weaknesses, instead of getting an E, can I at least try and get a D? If that is my level, you know. Or can I try and get a C? You know, just to help me to float in the current system that we are in, you know, and I think it's going to change that now they're going to focus on competence based and now help our students more to discover earlier what they're good at and pursue it earlier, like other systems of education. But for what we have now and what we are dealing with, I would say your performance will guide you. And sometimes we talk to Form 1s, Form 2s, Form 3s, and we are like, this time they're adding and dropping subjects. During that time, it's very crucial for them to start knowing, I think I'm led towards sciences or I'm led towards arts, and choosing where you're strong. Because you also don't want to fail. Why fail? You know. And we've been told that you can't make a fish, you can't put a fish and an elephant in the same compare, and yet sometimes we do that. Climb up this tree, oh fish. Duh. I tell the rabbit, what is it, who climbs trees? The monkey. Yeah, tell monkey then to come and swim with me in the ocean, you know, and thrive there. You know, there's an unfair field, and it's wrong, and parents do that sometimes. Even because even with our children, you'll see, and like you see with your siblings, you're different. One is called to this, the other is called to that. Although there were some families you'd see kila mtu number one, you know, but some families you find there's that disparity that you have to discover the strengths of your individual child, so that you're not forcing a square peg into a round hole. Just be sensitive. Talk to your child and encourage them in the area of their gifting and in the area of their strength, and then also don't hide, because if you can see anadunda or is falling anadunda in a certain subject, why force? Tell them, okay, this one I can see you're struggling, and it's an issue. Do you think you can do better with tuition, or do you think you can just try and get the maximum is this, so that you set it as a target, you know, and even if it's a low target, but it's what you can. But in the area that you're strong in, can we focus on this and get you to thrive in it, so that even their self-esteem is boosted, so that they are also encouraged. I've been seeing, like last year's KCSE results, the results the mean grade is very good. Why? Because they picked the strength of the student, like I think in languages, and I think in one of the arts or something, they pick your strength. So you see the mean grade is stronger than the previous years, and yet their performance is more or less the same, because this time they picked the strength. They gave that student, Atona, you boost them, you boost their self-esteem, and that gives you courage, you know. When I got my grade in high school, I was like, wow, okay, so you mean I can do it? You know, in our high school, we used to be pushed, and the grade system was so high, you never could score certain A's were foreign, a B was rare, C's were now the choppies, D's was, so you couldn't imagine until we reached like Form 4. Then we were told, by the way, those C's, they'll turn to A's, and those D's are turning to B's, and that was that's what happened, because the system of the school was to push us academically in a certain way. I don't think that system works very well this day and age, because our children are so delicate mentally. They need a lot of encouragement. Some of the feedback we get, even when we interview our students who visit the campus, you see, please encourage me more, please be visiting us more, please can you come and talk to me more. At that time you spend 2 hours, you're dry to your mouth, and somebody's still asking. You know, for you it's a written done, you know. This child can come to my university, you know, strength. No, they need us continuously to talk to them, encourage them, advise them, expose them to media that is helping them to towards their career, expose them to the Word of God that gives them their purpose, that directs them, that gives them stability, character. Because also without character, I mean, you can perform as good as you know, like you can see a lot of hacking going on now. That's lack of character. You know, you have the brains, but you're using them to do the wrong thing. You're put in a position of leadership in the business, or in the academic field, or in the country, and you're just messing things up because of character. So are we building up also your character? And that also comes back to your purpose and prayer and knowing the Word and what God's plan for you. And God, by the way, is all about purpose. Is all about our character formation. He's not so concerned, because like we said, He gives wealth to both the wicked and the righteous. It's not an issue for Him, but for His people, there's the character that He wants to build, because it is who He is. He's a holy God, a righteous God, a faithful God, a loving God, and that's what He wants to build even in our children, and that's what gives you the ability to serve. And that's what we teach. By the way, at our university, we are so keen on service, training students for service, global service. That ability to serve the Lord and His people, that ability to serve God and humanity, that looking beyond yourself. And in both my universities, by the way, my undergraduate and my postgraduate, I have found that the Christian universities have a way of training for servant leadership, so that in the position that you're called, it's not just about your performance, that you did very well in school, but that you have integrity in the workplace, in the workspace, that you're able to hold your fort even when things are bad.
Wow.
There.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I think we have one more P.
Okay. Let's planning.
Okay.
Yeah, let's planning.
Yes.
Well, it's important that our students learn to plan early.
Yes.
And I usually encourage them when we have when our forums are on, that please just close your eyes for a minute and just think 5 years from now. 5 years is a lot for high schoolers.
Yeah.
You know, for us 5 years as adults, we're just like, you know, because we've seen a lot and grown a lot. And now we are adults. We are we have matured.
Yes.
But for them, 5 years, and we are still advised, by the way, even as adults, to plan 5 years, 10 years. You know, so we are always talking to the students about planning, and that when you start from the end, you're able to start working towards it from where you are.
Yeah.
So you want to go to university. Which university do you want to go to? But, you know, because those would be Form 1s now, 5 years, then they're thinking of campus.
Yeah.
So you're in Form 4 now. What do you want to be when you finish? Or what can you see that you're propelled to, even if it's 3, your top 3, you know, not just one, because it's also good to be flexible, because life, you know, God leads us in different directions. If you're so fixated, you can end up depressed. So the best thing is to have like your top 3. And in the next 5 years, where would you like to see yourself, you know, when you finish high school? And so that ability to plan is very important. That ability to have even in your mind that you don't want to be lazy. And planning helps you not to be lazy, because now you start working towards something. You don't want to be anxious. Planning helps to reduce the anxiety, because once you're settled on where you can see yourself, you start working towards it, and the anxiety reduces, and you're able to plan, you're able to work better, and you're able to move with people around you. Even people, by the way, that is another P. Yeah, because we are here because of people. I'm here because I connected with you somewhere. You know, my job, I'm there because somebody led me to. You know, we are not an island. We need one another. And so when you plan, God prepares people even to help to connect you to your next level. So you want to also, like we talked on character, you also want to develop good friendships. You also want to be the kind of person that people can trust with a job, you know. So that ability to plan. And also it helps with the high schoolers in their academic journey. Because when they plan better, they're able to read better. And when they're able to read better, they're able to perform better. And when you perform better, your choices now are more open. Whether you study locally or internationally, whether you'll do a business course or you'll do criminal justice or counseling psychology or business, you know, your options are there for you. And you can now do, even when you analyze yourself, you can say, okay, I'm inclined to this. Or even you can do 2, 3, you know, you're still young. Yeah, who is confining you? You know, in the area like our area of communication, we find ourselves as practitioners in brand management. We find ourselves in events. We find ourselves working for banks. We find ourselves working in the studio here with lights and cameras. You know, we find there's so many fields that you can discover of yourself because you planned, because you saw something ahead of you, and you began to work towards it, and God began to open doors and avenues of even you understanding. And with that understanding, then you're better prepared to face the future.
Wow, thank you. Viewers, very insightful discussions here. I hope you are taking note of the P's, because we need to help our high schoolers. We need to help them to choose a career, you know, that they will be comfortable in, and not only comfortable, but something that they are passionate about, and that they can then go ahead and excel. Now, there's something I see people do, which they call psychometric tests. To what extent are they useful in helping, especially high schoolers, to be able to get a bearing for themselves.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thank you for that, Laureen. That's very important. Actually, those psychometric tests are very good because they can help you to discover even your personality. Yeah, and normally your personality, another P, will propel you towards
Yes.
your career or choosing a career.
Yes.
Yeah, because you'll find when you expose the students to, oh, kumbe I'm like that. No wonder, oh, it's not wrong to be a bubbly, laughing person.
Yes.
It's not wrong to be a serious person that may just like things being done perfectly.
Yeah.
That's the way I was built. Oh, you mean God made me like that?
Yeah.
And there's a purpose for it.
Yes.
And so that helps them to discover where their strengths are. And then you don't fit, like we said, a square pin into a round hole. Yeah, so that ability to do psychometric tests is very important. We do it also as part of our coursework. We have a program called Youth Career Mentorship Program, where when high schoolers finish, they join the university and we take them through some, between when you finish high school and now you're entering campus. And psychometric tests are really, really good during that time. Of course, students at that age of high school are also really growing.
Yeah.
They're discovering themselves. And they should not also say, this is the way I am, and that's the way I'm going to be for the rest of my life, you know. No, we are ever growing, maturing, and changing.
Yeah.
Sometimes our personalities, and you will discover when you do psychometric tests, they tell you this is the good side
Yes.
of your personality, and then this is the negative side that you really need to work on,
Yes.
because you'll end up meeting with also your employer,
Yes.
or your colleague, or your spouse.
Yes.
So it helps, it's an all-round helping, because now you understand, oh, this is the way this person thinks.
Yeah.
This is the way this person operates. No wonder they are so meticulous about, and me, I'm not. So how do we live together?
Yeah.
How do we work together?
Yes.
How can we study together? Yeah. And then when you go to the workplace, oh, this is the strength of this one.
Yeah.
This one, when you give them a project, they will organize it for you, you know. And even you as a person, you say, when you go for an interview, you're able to articulate, that, oh, me, I'm very good with organizing.
Yeah.
I'm a good in time management. Me, if you give me a stage, I can just talk. I will have no problem to propagate our message, you know, because that is the way I'm built. Me, I just like to be behind the scenes. Please don't put me in front of the camera. I'll take the camera, I'll shoot, you know. Just getting to discover that aspect of who you are. And psychometric, they do help. They're even spiritual ones, to knowing your spiritual gift, because your spiritual gift also could be can propel you towards where you're called to serve, because we're not all called to serve in corporate. Some of us are called to serve in the church setup, and some are called to, you know, pastor, to be prophets, to be evangelists, to be. So when you discover that, you stop fighting. So you stop fighting with yourself and fighting with who God made you to be. And those tests do help you, know, to discover, oh, I am no wonder I'm a giver. I'll give even until I have no shoes, you know. Or here we are, you know, in Powerhouse, we are giving ourselves. Even people are wondering, how are you able even to take care of all those children and you're not even working, you know, but you're a giver. God gave you that gift. You're an encourager. You can't help it. And somehow, as you continue to sow the seed, as you continue to, and I loved this. One day God told me, I'm not a grave. I'm fertile ground. As in, when God hides you, when He puts you in, and you're not even being seen for some time, and people may have an issue with that. I'm not being seen. Like for me today, I'm on TV. But you know, there's a season of your life where you may not be seen. But you are a seed in the ground. You're not dead in a grave being buried and forgotten and rest in peace. No, you're a seed. And you may be hidden for a while, but you'll begin to sprout. And who knows the kind of tree that God has made you to be. What will your service be? And there are different kinds of plants, by the way. There are some which they are, you know, quick, you know. They grow quickly, they produce, you've got your harvest. But there are others which take time. But they're there for the long haul. They even become homes to birds because they're so strong. Who are you? You know, but you're all important because we need maize. How will we eat if you're not maize? You have to be maize. So there are some people who are just maize. They keep sprouting and sprouting quickly, but there are others who. So in that you discover that discovery process here. It's very important, and that helps.
Wow. Thank you. I think there's something you've mentioned that I think is really, really important. And the analogy you've used of plants, I think, is very instructive, because you really need to know, for the high schooler, they need to understand themselves. For the parents of high schoolers, then you really need to know your child, know their personalities, know what they are good at, what they are not good at, so that you help them with what they are good at, and then so you encourage them with what they are good at, but help them where they are struggling, because at the end of the day, they have to live with other human beings in whatever sphere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's very important. Now, there's something I want to just take you back to. When you talked about your programs with high schoolers. Now, at what point do you think a parent should engage you as a coach, to say for career, or maybe whoever, but just at what point? Because we find that, okay, CBC is now coming through, we are facing out 844, but where we are, we still have a bit of Form 1, Form 2. I think we have the last lot now. So is it Form 1? Is it Form 2? Are they late? You know, because you talked about something to do with choosing of subjects, which sometimes actually starts way back in Form 2.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when should a parent look for you or any other career coach for high schoolers?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. First job as a parent, actually, God has given you. So from birth, even when they're in the womb, we start talking to our children, praying for them, declaring over them good things, and that they will find their, you know, purpose early, and then they are born, and then also now the journey begins. And in that journey, it's not a perfect journey. The journey can be full of mountains and valleys, rivers and lakes. It can be smooth. There are plateaus, there are high times and low times. So understand that, first of all. Life is not, even for you as a parent, your life is it's not a straight line. So the same goes for your children. Sometimes, okay, some parents have been very focused, you know, you're going to be a tennis player, you know, like the geniuses of tennis or sport, you know. They'll groom you to be that, and you raise up, and some have raised and people are not bitter, but others, like I think I remember hearing Michael Jackson's story, like, oh, you know, the world was rejoicing that he's a pop star and all that, but inside them they were hurting. They were forced to do many hours of work in, you know, sometimes parents push. So you can cultivate the gifting of your child by exposure from an early age.
Wow.
From when they are young. Like even as at Powerhouse Children's Club, what we used to do, we used to entertain, enlighten, and encourage, and educate. So we'd expose the children to swimming. They do music. You see the arts, the crafts. They write, they color. That's a young age, but they're already beginning to discover. You can see this one, the way they color. If you compare with another child, you're like, oh wow, you know. They start manifesting their gifts early. This one, you put them in the field. Oh my goodness, you can't catch up with them. There are people, you know, so that's the way you start discovering, oh, my child is this, my child is that. And sometimes it may please you, sometimes it may disappoint you, because you had other plans. Kumbe, you're not God. Hello, you are not. God has a plan, for your child. And you have to be able to see that and nurture that and encourage that. Okay. So your role as a parent is character development first. Please, that your child is able to be disciplined. It helps your teachers, helps the whole world. And still children may rebel, even with all that. And that's still part of the journey. It's not a perfect journey. Some of us came out of very rebellious backgrounds and have become amazing, astute, very good and disciplinarians. You can't even imagine that's the person who used to do those things in high school, you know, because it was a season, you know, and then people bloom differently. So as a parent, observing, number one. Number two, intervening when you can. There's an age where you intervene, and you intervene and you intervene, but there's an age now you start letting go. You've done the intervention, you've sowed the seed, and it's going to healthy. It will sprout at some point. Be patient, be patient, and then just observe. Also hear them. Are you taking time to listen? Are you listening? Because you'll hear your child sing music, they love music, or you'll hear them saying, they are touched by these poor people, and you're busy quickly hurrying up I've done that. You know, you just want to go, but they are so moved. You see, they're compassionate with animals. You know, they're very good. Hey, maybe you have a veterinary in the house. You know, that ability to observe and know when to draw the line, when your input was required, and then now when you're on an advisory, and then now you wait also to be asked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You wait
Beautiful.
to be asked. So at every stage there's that growth, and now when teenagers, there's the teenage years, and then there's the campus years, and then there's the adulting years. So just know, navigate prayerfully, observing patiently, and also now intervene when you need to. And remember your first core duty, character development. The rest will fall into place because you have teachers, you have support systems. That the church is there, they are always encouraging them. The school is there, you're paying fees, they're encouraging them, they're building them up academically. Your work is also there, and in bringing in the best school that you can afford, the best church that the Lord has given you the grace to be plugged into, that actually nurtures children. By the way, also that really matters, because it may be once a week, but it's a crucial once a week. So it's good to put your children even in a church that encourages them at their stage, not just forcing them to be in a stage that you find is good for you, but they're not getting so the way you're raising them in terms of spiritual upbringing, in terms of academic journey. I read a story of a girl who was in a very good national school, but imagine she was not thriving, and she really talked to her parents, and they listened to her, took her to a day school that was simple but had the basics, and lo and behold, she still got her A, even from a school that maybe does not even normally produce A's, but it was in her to be an A student. It's just the environment that was not good. So are we listening? Let's be good listeners.
Wow, you won't believe it, we've actually run out of time.
Wow.
So viewers, I think that's all we had time for today. We'll do this again later on, maybe in the year, but for now I think you just maybe give us your parting shot. What really is your message, especially to the parents who have high schoolers, and then of course to the high schoolers who may be watching or will watch?
Awesome. All right, so I'll just say, really, think of your own journey. Because you didn't get to where you are by accident. There are people who you've also stepped on their shoulders. I heard Kambua saying that the other day. There are people who have helped you to be where you are and who you are. So believe God that He will set your children up and give good shoulders. I remember, like in our high school, there were people who led us. Esther Home for me was one person who I would just see she had that passion, and see where she is today. There's that aspect of listening. There's that aspect of prayer. There's that aspect of trusting God. And the mentors in our lives, like for me, I would mention Trufi and say thank you so much. And even kind people, you know, like your spouse, you know your journey. Kuna vile I'm where I am today because my husband also encouraged me. So we are not built in a day. We keep building and being built. So even for you young people, be patient with yourself. Don't be in a rush. God will continue to open doors for you. Plug in people into your life. Give you plans, give you resources, give you opportunities. Also don't waste those opportunities. You're in high school now, focus. What else are you doing? Read. This is the time to read. Give your best performance, because the way you're doing it now is the way you'll do in campus, because now you'll be focusing on your career. The way that energy you give, that ability to give your best. Don't be anxious. Don't be afraid. You know, pursue. That is what you'll also bring into the world. So pursue, you know, with patience, and pursue with faith, because God has you.
Wow.
Yeah, God has us.
Wow.
Yeah. We are where we are because of God.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Very welcome.
It was great to speak to your audience today.
Thank you.
And I pray we get to do this again.
Yeah, we should. We should. We haven't even touched, scratched the surface in terms of what we wanted to talk about, but thank you. Viewers, that's all we've had time for today. We'll do this again. Engage us on our social media platforms. If you have any questions, please just still post them. We'll be able to look at them, and then, you know, as always, we chart a path that will help you so that you are able to grow, get informed, and, you know, make decisions that will move you forward. So I've been your host, Laureen Magotsi. Until next Thursday, God bless you.